My name is Elizabeth, and this is a guide to brewing kombucha. Kombucha is a fermented sweet tea that's been used by the Chinese for many years. Tea gets fermented by a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, also known as a SCOBY. It's believed to have many health benefits and also has probiotics, which makes for a healthy gut and improves digestion. Kombucha's popularity has grown over the past decade, and you can now find the product in most grocery stores. Product of this beverage is not cheap and can run anywhere from $3 to $4.50 a bottle. When I first discovered the beverage, I thought the process of making it would be really hard and not worth it. But the more I drank it, the more my wallet felt it. About 6 months ago, I decided I wanted to venture out and attempt making my own home brew of kombucha. Now I want to share with you what I know and how you too can enjoy brewing the beverage for yourself at only a portion of the price. To get started, you're going to need a few things: a gallon glass jar, plain, non-flavored tea, a SCOBY with starter juice, organic cane sugar, stick-on thermometer, a syringe, pH test strips, a funnel, measuring cup, fabric for covering the jar, a rubber band, airtight bottles, and a notebook and a pen. Most of these things you can get at a grocery store. However, you're going to need to get your SCOBY online or from a friend that's already brewing kombucha. Since you're dealing with bacteria, it's super important that you're getting your SCOBY from a reputable source to ensure that it's not bad. Amazon and thekitchen.com are both good places to start, but also keep in mind that some of Amazon's sellers are private, so you're going to want to be sure to read reviews and make sure that you're purchasing a healthy SCOBY. The first step is right before the first fermentation process, and it involves brewing the tea. To do this, you're going to bring 4 cups of water to a rapid boil, add 6 tea bags or 6 ounces of non-flavored loose leaf tea, and steep it for 7 minutes. After the tea is finished steeping, remove the tea from the water. The teas can be either green, black, or white, and flavored teas are not suggested. Mixing different teas is also acceptable as long as you keep the tea to water measurements the same. Once your tea's finished steeping, you can add 1 cup of sugar until the sugar dissolves. From here, you're going to add 8 cups of cold water into your gallon glass jar. Once you're done adding the 8 cups of water, you're going to combine it with your 4 cups of hot tea that you just made and check the temperature. Once the temperature is somewhere between 68 and 84 degrees, you can add in your SCOBY and starter liquid. After you've added your SCOBY, give it 1 stir and use a pH strip to test the pH. pH is going to need to be somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5. If it's not in this range, add a tablespoon of white vinegar, stir, and check it again. Once your pH is in the range, you're going to want to cover your jar with your fabric, seal it with the rubber band, and set it in an area that's away from direct light and has good circulation and will not be disturbed. Kombucha needs airflow in order to prevent the growth of bad bacteria, so be sure not to store your first fermentation in a closet, drawer, cupboard, or any area that doesn't get good circulation. Once the first fermentation has started, you're going to be able to start your second fermentation in 7 to 21 days, depending on your taste. To do this, you're going to want to taste your SCOBY. After 7 days, taste your SCOBY to see if it's ready. If it seems a little sweet, let it sit for another couple days and taste it again. Once it's to a taste that you think will be good, you're ready to begin your second fermentation process. To start this off, you're going to want to wash your hands and make sure you have a clean bowl to set your SCOBY in. Stick your hands into your jar and remove the SCOBY. Once the SCOBY is removed, take 1 cup of the liquid that your SCOBY was sitting in and add it to your SCOBY. Next, you're going to want to start to flavor your bottles. You can use many different things to flavor your kombucha. fresh fruit juice or fruit is most popular, and especially for when you're getting started. To do this, you simply add a cup of fruit or 2 ounces of juice fruit into your bottles. Once it's all in your bottles and everything's all filled up, you're going to want to close your bottles and store them for your second fermentation. You're going to want to place these bottles in a dark cupboard and let them sit. As your kombucha begins to sit, its second fermentation is starting. When this happens, your jars start to carbonate and build up pressure while they ferment. Every 1 to 2 days, you're going to want to burp your kombucha. To do this, you take off the lid to release the pressure and put it back on. The second fermentation can last anywhere from 1 to 5 days, depending on how fizzy you like your drink. Once your second fermentation is complete, you're going to want to put your bottles in the fridge and let it sit and cool, or serve it over ice. One thing that I found is that for best results is you don't want to burp your kombucha the same day you put it in the fridge. Putting your kombucha in the fridge stops the second fermentation process and will not allow your bottles to build up more pressure, but will also keep the carbonation nice and fizzy for you. So there's also a few questions that people have about their SCOBY. The first one is going to be how to split your SCOBY. So after a couple of batches of your SCOBY, you're going to be ready to split it. At this time, you can use it to start another batch, give it to a friend, or throw it away. To split your SCOBY is super easy and involves pulling the layers apart from each other after your first fermentation process is complete. If you want to start brewing a second jar of kombucha, be sure to save 1 cup of the liquid to start your first fermentation process again. Another thing you can do is feed your SCOBY. If you're not quite ready to make another batch and think it'll be a while before you're going to be able to bottle your kombucha, you may want to consider just letting it sit. You can let it sit with feeding it for up to 30 days. In order to do this, you're going to want to combine 1 cup of water with 2 tea bags and a 1/4 cup of sugar to your SCOBY and starter liquid. Once you've done this, you can cover it with your cloth and rubber band and let it sit for up to 30 days. Once this is complete, your kombucha is done and you're ready to enjoy. However, there is one thing you want to look out for, and that's going to be mold. Mold on your SCOBY isn't likely, but it's also something you don't want to risk. Your SCOBY will grow and change a lot from its first brew and throughout its life. Mold looks and smells exactly like you would imagine it to: green, fuzzy, and dirty. If you suspect that your SCOBY has grown mold, do not taste it or go through a second fermentation process and just throw it away. However, your SCOBY will grow small colonies of brown bacteria and sometimes turn a brighter white. This isn't mold, it's simply a part of the good bacteria and yeast in your SCOBY. Your SCOBY has an acidic, vinegary smell, and you should be able to smell if it is spoiled. If you're ever in question, be sure to throw away your SCOBY and do not drink it, as you can get very sick. If you look on the left, there are 2 pictures of a SCOBY that's developed mold, and if you look on the right, there's 2 pictures of a SCOBY, a healthy SCOBY. The bottom one has the yeast, and the top is just a new layer of a SCOBY. I hope this was a helpful guide to you, and I hope you enjoy your first batch of brewing kombucha. Have a nice day.